Look, some people can actually get constipation, and it usually tends to be gut microbiome issues, which tend to basically, if it can be two things, it can either be the gallbladder issue, and that can actually, for some reason, in some people, when they take taurine in particular, and I usually say to people, take some choline, more choline than taurine, like 4 grams, to try and actually sort out the gallbladder as fast as possible. So to improve emulsification, stuff like that. And some people just, with some of the gut bacteria as well, they can actually, especially when you don't produce enough bile to cleanse the small intestine, and there's a bit more overgrowth in the small intestine, and then you take the taurine and it goes in there into the system, and some of these, there are some bacteria that actually consume it and actually can produce some problems and all that. And again, it's due to, not because of the taurine, but it's due to you haven't fixed the gallbladder issue, and that's causing that problem. So you've got to focus more on milk thistle, choline, and bringing the taurine down to about 2 grams and all that, because you still need some for good bile production. But until you start emulsifying and fixing up and improving the bile flow, some people can take a bit of ox bile in the early stages. So because it does have an alkalining effect, so you'd have to take it about a bit over 2.5 hours after a meal, depending on how big the meal is. And that will actually help with digestion, but also will help with cleansing the small intestine and bringing down the load. That's the SIBO issue that many people suffer. But you still need some taurine in the system because that helps improve acidity together with, because it regulates the proton pumps in your stomach. Now, there's another way of actually, a quick way of actually healing the gastrointestinal tract, the whole lot of it, and that will increase, but that also will increase the acidity levels, and it could actually swing you from constipation to diarrhea, and that's with BPC 157, which will fix the stomach function and improve that. But I would basically first focus on fixing the gallbladder, and then once the gallbladder is fixed, then concentrate on taking something like that to fix the collagen structures throughout the whole digestive tract. So that would be my way of going about it. Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. What's your thoughts, Jonathan?
I think the same really. Usually people change a lot in their diet. Like I've tried the high fat thing and the lower fat thing in the past, and anytime I've changed it, something has happened to my guts. So it might be that, me speaking to different people most days, it's usually that they're eating too much or too little fat. It's nearly always one or the other, I notice. So I'd probably scale back or scale up depending on what the person's doing. And obviously BPC 157 would help.
That's another thing you could probably do as well. Yeah, but you could play around with the fat to see whether that improves things as well.
I've got 2 thoughts about
when we talk about electrolyte imbalances.
I think it could be that he's having too much dairy or calcium. That could be bunging up a little bit. Too much protein as well can slow things down.
Yep.
And if the protein's like super high and more than what he's needed, he might be getting
that's true
a lot of gluconeogenesis, so more insulin. That might be throwing off his electrolytes a little bit.
Yeah, that's possibly. Yeah, potentially. So yeah, again, back to getting a bit more fat in the diet, because a lot of people just buy supermarket meat, and that's quite lean in many cases, especially nowadays, so constantly trim the fat off. So the good option is you can go to a local butcher and actually ask them for the trimmings. For a couple of bucks, you can get a whole bag full of fat trimmings, and you can use those to cook with your meat and get a bit more fat into your system. That's what a number of carnivores do. I tend to buy my meats with fat pieces that thick on them. and don't have to worry about eating trimmings or anything.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to
I do loads of
do it.
butter myself.